We have seen many cities so far in our travels around the world, but so far they have been all above ground. Well, that changes today as we explore the underground city of Kaymakli in Cappadocia, Turkey. This area right by the entrance is the stall, so this is where they would hold their animals, and they wanted to make it as easy as possible to get the animals in and out of this cave structure. In this area is where they would store their food. So we have the animals at the top, and then a little bit below, they have their storage for all their food that they have stored for the time.
This is what an underground living room would look like. You think they put their TV there? What do you think the nooks are? Do you know?
I'm not sure. So in general, people would be down here for like 2 to 3 months, right? That's why they're gonna have as much stuff as they possibly need. And while they're here, they didn't need to live here for 1 or 2 years, just like 2 or 3 months at a time. So yeah, this would be their living quarters while they were living here.
Hadi gel.
When we're in places like this, we want to imagine what it would be like. So I don't know how you would actually properly lay down in here. I don't know if these areas are for like storage of your own personal items, or you would like crawl in here and then kind of lay in here as your bed. You might do that.
Whoa, watch your step.
So in the unfortunate case that someone would pass away while they were down here hiding from the people chasing them, following them, planning to hurt them, they had these temporary graves. So they wouldn't have them here, once again, not for years or anything like that, but if someone passed away in the 2 or 3 months, hopefully that they're down here kind of running from their enemies, they could have like graves here as a temporary burial system until they can get them back up to surface and bury them properly. For part of the history of these underground cities, the Romans escaped here to escape any sort of persecution for their faith. And when they were here, they built this church, and churches like this in the underground cities, so they could worship and be away from persecution, not just in some random building somewhere, but completely underground.
How old are these underground cities, and who built these underground cities? How long it took to build? And these are mostly unique questions about underground cities. Actually, there are not certain information about these underground cities because they didn't write anything about these underground cities during their own period. Because if you make some secret shelter, you don't make any record about them. These are secret. They're not recorded. But as the archaeologists said, these underground cities are older than 3,000 years old.
This is the most dangerous part. You gotta watch your step. I'm always looking out for a bump in my head, but don't want to twist an ankle down here either.
They apparently had masks underground too.
They're ready for anything. Welcome to Party Central. This is the winery. In here, they would squish the grapes, right? And then the grape juice would come down into this receptacle here.
Because he's feeling sick.
Right? And then as soon as that was done, they wouldn't, you know, just come up to the surface to be able to store the wine. They'd store it over here and ferment the wine in this general area.
Man. Hey, yeah, what's علمنا now, Joe? To go out from here. Hey, wait, yeah, what's our tour guide? Hey, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this would be my favorite spot.
Yeah.
No,
These parts are really cool too. These are the stone doors. So this is one way to get to another level, but if you had anything else that you wanted to block the enemies off from, you could roll away this stone to cover this entrance here. And I think they would put a smaller stone on it to really secure it, so it would be much harder to roll that stone out of the way if people were coming in here to attack the people. So this area also has a lot of storage space, so I think this is where they would hold their jars, right? So either like food in the jar or ideally fresh wine in the jar, and all these little pot areas for anything that stores properly like that in one of the jar pots that they would have, or clay jars they would have. This is a much longer route, but it's still relatively wide. God, there's a traffic jam here, it'd be a little bit scarier. As you're crouching through the tunnels and alleyways, it's very difficult, especially when you're 6'1" like myself. But if you're in these actual rooms, there's plenty of room to stand up and not really bump your head. So it's a little difficult as you're going from floor to floor and area to area, but once you're actually in a room, there would be enough space for you to stand up pretty comfortably. This is properly called a tunnel. Not too much longer than the other one, before you get a little break.
Are you okay?
Hopefully this, my head smartens me up a little bit. Here we have a ventilation shaft, so this is how they would get fresh air into this place.
Because you definitely would need it.
Yeah, so we're only like 3 or 4 floors down. So pipe in air from the surface and it can go all the way down. I think it goes like 7 or 8 floors, something like that. Pretty cool. Good. Fresh air, you need it after the tunnel. All right, let's go through another tunnel here. Definitely don't recommend visiting a place like this if you're super claustrophobic. I get claustrophobic a little bit, but it wasn't too bad, except for when there's a bunch of people around, and then I kind of felt like overwhelmed with that. But as far as the spaces, it's not too bad. Once again, I'm over 6 foot tall, and yeah, you gotta bend over, hit my head like 10 times on that rock, which is not so best. Al did it again, okay.
Like squat, yeah.
All right, it's okay.
Keep it low, watch your head. You're literally gonna hit your head.
Yeah, now I gotta.
Like squat. Like,
I know, but now I'm about to walk down steps too.
Oh.
There's just a lot of things happening, see? I gotta walk down these steps. While already squatting.
And recording.
And recording. All right.
Ow.
Watch your head. Okay.
I'm not even that tall.
I mean, good thing we exercise our legs a lot. All right. I can stand up again.
Yeah, I think it's when you think you're about to come out that you probably maybe go a little bit quicker than what you should when you hit your head.
All right.
Another winery.
Perfect.
Another party central. Can't just have one winery. There's how many people would be under here? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I think 3,000, but that could be off.
But yeah, regardless, even if it's 200, you definitely need 2 wineries.
Yeah, imagine all of the stress and the pressure of knowing that, you know, you're on the run from your enemies, either because of religious persecution or it's at times of war. You need some way to unwind a little bit. So it is good that they have, like, you know, wineries. They had tons of space for their storage of their personal items and for anything to have in jars. They had their livestock. I mean, fully equipped cities down here. We're starting to get blue arrows, which means that we're on the way to exit out of here. Back up about 4 floors.
We've got a bunch of rooms as you go up.
Yeah, this is really cool to walk through if you look straight ahead, especially with all the lights they have now. It'd be much darker when they were living here.
Because in the shop it's not that important. But I can say that this room was used to pause because the time of contributing to a gap of whatever you
We're not really sure, but in this area was the kitchen. And so this is the room we're currently standing in. So this area might be the kitchen. Maybe it's like one big kitchen, you know, or we're thinking maybe this little room over here.
You have to know that, you know, have to remember that they probably couldn't cook anything. I'm not sure how they like really prepared, you know, the animals or the meat or anything like that, because you wouldn't want to have a bunch of smoke billowing up from the top because that would give your positioning away. So I'm not sure how they cook it and prepare it, but somewhere in this general area, back up on the 3rd floor. I gotta say, when you're in the Cappadocia region, you have to visit one of the underground cities. Thank you so much for watching our tour of Kaymakli. This is WITY Travels. What could possibly be next?